Hey, thanks for listening to this newest episode of the Business of Fun podcast. I am your host, Dave Wakeman. We are back with a brand new episode, and my guest today is Tyler Simmons. And Tyler and I are going to talk about bucket golf. This is a great conversation. It's coming out in June, just in time for summer, or you can probably use it at some of your facilities. We're going to get into it. So before I talk to you about Tyler, I want to remind you of a few things. Check out the the Talking Tickets newsletter, not the Business of Fun. That's this thing, okay? The Talking Tickets newsletter, it is at talkingtickets.substack.com. If you are a listener to the Business of Fun podcast, you are likely already a subscriber to the Talking Tickets, but I don't want to take that chance. So check it out. It's at talkingtickets.substack.com, or you can get it by putting your email address in the drop down or pop-up box on my website, which is davewakeman.com. Make sure you also check out the website. There's a store there, there's blogs, there's all kinds of cool stuff that keeps you in touch with what I'm working on. Some cool things I'm planning. I have just got off of a call with the people at Mentatech. We're going to do a webinar together. So make sure you sign up for Talking Tickets or visit the Dave Wakeman website. Make sure you stay on top of what's going down with me. So anyway, back to my conversation with Tyler Simmons about bucket golf. We decided to talk about bucket golf because it seemed like a really, really cool idea. And it came across my desk at the same time that taking my son and his buddies all over the D.C. area to the different golf courses. And I thought about it, like, I'm not a golfer, but they look like they have a lot of fun. And Tyler's product solves that problem. So we talk about how you built a product from scratch, because that's what bucket golf is. It's a product that Tyler and some of his family and friends helped create from start. They started with a homemade set. We talk about how that happened. We talk about innovating products. We talk about how to change a product. We talk about some lessons learned in the startup process. One of the really cool things that I figured out was we talked about innovation and how he's built the DNA of innovation into the company. We talk about the balance between business and creative. We talk about new product development. We talked about managing product runs in the supply chain, which was kind of an interesting idea to talk about here. The speed of innovation, fighting back against product strategic drift, building a community around your product. A lot of things that I think you will find interesting. So here's my conversation with Tyler Simmons on the Business of Fun. All right. I would like to welcome Tyler Simmons to the Business of Fun podcast. Tyler, what's happening?
Not much, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be great because bucket golf, it seems like a hit. When we first started talking about this conversation, I was like, my son, he plays golf. And then there's but a lot of guys don't play golf. And so this would be a way for them to do some of the best of both worlds, get outside, have fun, and but also introduce themselves to the game of golf. So I was as I looked in more, I was I was really, my hypothesis was confirmed because I saw the video of your sister on your website, and that looked like me. So I was like, this is going to be great. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this. Let's start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about bucket golf for people who maybe this is their first introduction to the sport and to your product.
Yeah. So the way you described it, of your story of kind of what you thought about it and why it would be cool, is pretty much how we started as well. So started with just this homemade set on a family vacation. And I love golf, play all the time. My brother loves golf, but the rest of my family they won't ever go out to the course with us. So it's kind of just me and him. But we had this game at home that was this homemade version, and we started playing it, and I loved it obviously immediately. But the other craziest part is my whole family actually loved it, and started playing and couldn't get enough of it. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Now I can finally play some version of golf with all my friends and family, who most 80% of them don't play golf. They won't play real golf. So that's kind of how the whole idea came about of of bucket golf. It wasn't called bucket golf then. And what bucket golf actually is it's a portable par three golf course. So it allows you to set up the game of golf anywhere, whether it's your backyard, the beach, the park. You can set it up inside. Doesn't matter where you are. You can literally play the game of golf anywhere. And it kind of gives you the excitement of real golf. You get that same excitement of when you hit a great shot, that same like euphoric feeling of like, wow, what a shot. But at the same time, it removes all the negative parts, which is how long golf takes, how much you have to practice to actually be good, how expensive it is, and kind of like joins them into this one awesome game in one. And that's what bucket golf is. And then the way it got started is back in the beginning, yeah, it was homemade set, like literally from 8 different stores, put it together. Originally tried to sell it like that, didn't work at all. We had plastic garden buckets. We had like bike safety flags, some clubs from a garage sale, and that's kind of how what the game was. It wasn't very portable in the beginning. It was still really fun, but it took forever to put a set together, and it's actually more expensive than our sets are now, somehow. So yeah, tried to figure it out. Couldn't sell anything. Literally in the first like 2 or 3 years, I think we sold like $5,000 worth of product. And then slowly but surely figured it out, kind of figured out how to make the buckets portable, everything portable, all fit into just one carry bag that you can kind of bring anywhere and play. And when I changed the design, that's when everything kind of started to explode and take off. And that's pretty much the beginnings of bucket golf and kind of what it is.
Yeah. So let me ask you about this. You say $5,000 in like the first 2 or 3 years of the business. And then you had to have kind of an epiphany to be able to figure out how to make everything work for people. What were some of the ways that you figured out what people wanted, what was standing in the way of people buying, and kind of creating the product it is now? Because I think for a lot of people who are listening, they feel like like when they have one shot, one crack at their product. And I sort of more in line with you. It's like the starting of the product is just like that's the opening of the negotiation, because I need to see what people want and will buy and need, and like I need to constantly kind of be altering and changing things.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's the best way, I think. Really, it's like you can spend so much time trying to perfect your product. And then once you actually put it out there, you realize all these things you spent so much time on, either people don't care about, or that's not what was important, or you need to switch something else. So I really think the best thing is, yeah, get it as good as you can and then just put it out there. And you're going to get more information back on how to get that product better in the next month than you would have in 2 years of trying to perfect it on your own. So yeah, when we first got it out there, people, and just like picture, so you can get a picture of what it is, they're real garden plastic buckets. So like real buckets, they don't collapse, they don't fold, nothing. Real buckets, 6 foot tall flag sticks, regular clubs. So this box that the set comes in is massive. It costs about $75 to ship it across the country. And to make it costs literally, I think it just to make the set, it was over $100. So by the time people bought it, the game was like $300, and we weren't even making any money. We were losing money on a $300 set at the same time. So I think that was kind of like the big thing. But people loved the game, though. They were like, this game is awesome. The ones who actually did it, like I got a couple people called me. I put my phone number in the box and she told me how much they loved the product. So I knew it was a good product. I just had to figure out, okay, how do I make it more portable and easier to store when people aren't using it, because that's clearly what's blocking people from ordering based on the feedback I'm getting and like surveys on the website of why someone's not ordering. So I knew that was the issue. And then the part where I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? Like, I need the box to be smaller, but like everything, it's the size is what it is. I don't know. I have no product experience at this point, so I don't know how to like fix anything more than I do now. And then I was messing around with a pop-up laundry hamper, like a big one. I actually still have it. And I realized like, oh crap, like the buckets can just be pop-up. And that was like the biggest hurdle. I couldn't figure it out. Once I figured out to make the buckets pop up, that kind of solved everything. And then that, because they take up the most space, and then like the flag sticks can go in half and connect. The clubs can be collapsible to where everything can just be compact down, which cuts the cost in half, but doesn't reduce the amount of fun that the people are having. So yeah, that's kind of like that took me longer than I just explained it. I wish it seems so simple now, but in the figuring it out, it took me literally a couple of years to figure it out. And then once I did, yeah, it was like I immediately got the new product here, and it was like snap of a finger, everything just started selling immediately. And I was like, all right, nice. This definitely is working, going in the right direction.
Yeah. What's interesting about how you explained it was that one of the things I try to teach people all the time is like, listen, you have to look for great ideas outside of your industry, your building, because like a lot of times like you said, oh, it's a bucket. There's nothing else I can do with this bucket to change the dimensions of this and like change the scope of it until you see your laundry hamper. Um, so like that kind of curiosity and willingness to experiment with like ideas that you find from other places is like something I think that like people need to do more of. Um, so like how do you keep that sort of spirit and like that innovative that sense of innovation going now? Because I see like, looking at the products, there's like a bunch of different ways that people can engage with the game and play the game. And I know they weren't like your original idea, so there has to be still some of that DNA inside the business.
Oh yeah, yeah, we do. I think that's one of my main things I've always been good at, and just not good at. Well, I think good at now. I wasn't good at back when I first started this. It was because I'm so interested in it. Like I've always loved making things. It wasn't products back in the day. With me and my friends, we would build ski rails to do tricks on. We'd build jumps. We'd build courses. We'd build all these things to mess around with and play ourselves and have fun. So I've always been just very interested in building things that are fun to do. And That's pretty much what we do now as well. Like we have some other products as well, not just bucket golf, and they've come from a lot of the same thing. Like I saw this awesome soccer product out there, and I was like, oh my God, this would work perfect with golf as well. It's like this big, gigantic Velcro target people I saw kicking soccer balls at. And I was like, oh, we can make our own golf version of this and it'd be a perfect fit. So yeah, totally agree with, yeah, looking outside the industry. Well, that's not really, I mean, that's still sports, but yeah, different sport of
It's
like
not golf though.
where good ideas come from. And yeah, honestly, I sometimes get caught in the other side where I spend too much time trying to improve the stuff instead of just kind of leaving things as is. And sometimes I'll go too deep down the rabbit hole of like trying to add all these extra things and continuously improve. But I do think, yeah, continuously improving your product and always making it better, to make it better for the customer is something that I just like naturally love to do. And it does feel like work. I love making things and improving things, and like watching other things out there and seeing how I can put them together is just something fun.
Well, it's a balancing act, right? Because I'm gonna use my experience here, which is that like I'm gonna be generous here because I think my number is way more skewed than the one I'm gonna give you. But let's say it's a balance 50-50 between like doing the work and then selling the work. So like the marketing and the selling is back and forth, and so um, tinkering I think is great because that's the way you kind of can figure out these new ideas and new creative ways. And I think like, and I only say this now because it's fresh in my mind, because before we started talking today, I had another call with somebody that I'm working with. And I was like, well, there's this challenge I always deal with is like getting down the rabbit hole, which you were talking about too. How do you balance that? Like, how do you manage your day so that you don't spend too much time on one, like falling down the rabbit holes and you neglect the other part of your business? I'm curious just because I do that, and I want to know. I'm hoping somebody can help me.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it seems like just from talking to a bunch of other business owners as well, it seems like everyone has their tendency where like they do something and then they realize like probably shouldn't have spent as much time as I just did on that. But that's like, it is what it is. It's how my brain works. The good thing is so we just brought in our new COO. He's actually from Spikeball, which a lot of people know what Spikeball is. And he's kind of like the opposite to me in a lot of ways, to where he can kind of balance it out. If I'm maybe spending too much time doing something or thinking about something the wrong way like that, he does a great job of kind of like pulling me back out and just looking at the big picture and sometimes realizing, oh yeah, wow, I'm going way too deep down what I'm doing. Like a new product we're trying to release, trying to perfect it too much. Just put it out there. I'm falling into my own trap that I know can't perfect a product. You just got to get it out there and then let people tell you how to fix it. You're not going to figure it out. And just trying to over improve a product sometimes, like it's as good as it can possibly be. Like, don't over improve it. And he's kind of the counterbalance to me in a lot of ways, where he can kind of get me out, and I can be like, well, you're right. Like, what I'm doing it again. I'm following the same pattern of
Yeah.
doing what I know I shouldn't be doing, but I just forget and I do it anyways. So that's kind of like the only thing I've seen that's actually helped so far.
Just hire somebody who will like rein you in. That's it.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah, like just has this other side of like their brain works in a different way.
Yeah. Well, so this I didn't plan to ask, but I am curious about it now that you talked about it. Was, releasing the product, getting it out into the market, and like seeing what people's feedback is. Um, how big are the production runs? Because I think sometimes that could be a challenge, and sometimes we have product people on, sometimes we don't. So I'm curious about this because that's like can limit how quickly you can innovate as well.
Oh yeah. So it's honestly still probably about the same side. The first order I ever did of Bucket Golf, the real one the new products where I actually ordered it instead of, it was custom instead of just like picking it from stores. That was about 200 units. Um,
Okay.
so really small. Now we do full containers of things now when we're testing something out. So depending on what the product is, it could be anywhere from 1,500 units if it's a bigger product to 3,000 units on something smaller that might fit. So something along the size of that. And then I think one of things we always hamper on is like just speed. We're a small company. We have whatever 15 or less full-time employees. And so there's just a lot of less people to go through stuff. So we can just rattle stuff out. And I think just speed of getting our products iterating faster and quicker is a big thing that we can do instead of having to take like a year to get something out, because we're small and nimble, and like we can get it designed in a month and then 2 months to make it, another month. Thus, we just got it inside 6 months in a new product idea versus having to go through so many checks and balances of a bigger company. We can kind of just get it faster, quicker, smaller, test, fail, and figure it out faster. And it's always failing. Never do we ever hit a home run in the very beginning, or very rarely. I think our club was like the only thing where we just nailed it first time. It was awesome. But that's a simpler one. So most stuff we fail in the beginning and have to iterate and fix things until we've like really got it dialed in.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because 1,500 to 3,000 too means the costs are are fairly manageable, right? It's like, because that's always my thing. It's like there's a balance between cost of production and the scale to get it down to a reasonable thing. But I figure like 1,500 to 2,000 is or 3,000 relatively manageable because and I was curious. That was a completely Dave based question on that one. So one thing I'm curious about, right, and I'm sure I know probably everybody you talk to asks about your experience on Shark Tank. I want to try to ask a little bit different angle on it. Mainly just because I'm sure you get tired of answering the same one. What was it like to be on Shark
Oh
Tank,
no,
Tyler?
it's always fun talking about Shark Tank.
But what I do know about being on a show like Shark Tank is that it gives you a brand incredible exposure that it would be incredibly difficult for you to pay for. At the same time, that's great. Or number one, no, not at the same time, that's great. It is great, right? The top of mind awareness is one of the things that most brands struggle for. At the same time, I'm curious about that exposure, knowing that you had a new product. It's something that is you know not super complex, I think, to put together. I think that how have you dealt with using your brand to create a moat for yourself? Because I would assume that like after you had come on to on Shark Tank, there was like people tried to flood the market with something that you had spent so much time creating from scratch.
Yeah, yeah. And we had a good amount of knockoffs before we went on Shark Tank, but after Shark Tank, it really just exploded. And even now, there are so many knockoff versions or whatever you want to call them, copycat versions of our product out there, just like on a ridiculous amount. So what we try to focus on for our, yeah, I guess moat of why would you buy ours instead of obviously going to buy somebody else's who's going to be cheaper than ours for sure. Why would you want ours? And kind of our moat is the community and brand behind our product. That really, I think, gets people to want to be a part of our community and not just this random knockoff brand where there isn't really anything behind it. It's really just like another game than if you get theirs. And ours, we have a big social media presence where we're always just sharing everyone's rounds, scores. We have a bunch of events, we have tournaments, leagues pop up, and all this stuff. And we're just building this awesome community that people want to be a part of. And I think that's what really makes the game special and more fun is being a part of this bigger community, knowing how many other people are playing this exact product that you have, versus just some knockoff that maybe a couple hundred people have. And you don't really feel like you're a part of the group and you're not really a part of these events and tournaments. And you can't like share yours on social media with us because it's a different product. But even when you do, it's like they still tag us. We get tagged all the time in bucket golf. Like I'm like, that's not our set, but whatever, we'll share it anyways. You meant to get the real one. They're like, oh, like I tried to get the real one, or oh, we're broke college kids. I was like, you should have just hit us up. I was like, we send people sets sometimes where they bought the wrong one. We'll be like, what's your address? Throw your other one away. We'll send you this one so you can have the real one. But yeah, that I think is the real thing. Just people who are really into it and love being a part of what we're doing. And then obviously we also like the quality of ours is 10 times better. The sizing is correct. Like the clubs feel so real. All the knockoffs kind of have these much cheaper clubs that look good in images, but it's not actually real. But I don't even think that's why people mostly buy ours, despite the fact that it is way better quality, what we're doing, and makes the game way better and playable and like easier to set up and faster. I think it is more the community and the brand that gets people to buy ours instead of the others, not so much as that. Like the quality is better, but I think less people care about that.
Well, the idea of marketing is that all of this matters, right? Like it's so it's the brand, it is the accumulation of all these little instances, right? It's like going, oh, you bought the wrong product, I'll send it to you because you're a couple of broke college kids. It's so. And so I guess that leads me to a question that and I told you about this, like the brand management class I teach is, what do you hope people get from your brand? Like when they see bucket golf, what do you want them to take away? Like what two or three things, if you stamp them on their head, do you hope that like when I go stop sign on the street, bucket golf, and what they come back at me with?
Yeah, so I think this is what we've hammered from the beginning is just fun and connection and community. And that is what everybody sees in all of our videos and everything we do. That's what we're all about. I think the first line I ever had marketing was, we're here to take your parties, vacations, and Sunday fun days to a whole new level. Um, and that is what we sell. We sell fun and connection and getting people to forget everything else. It's like, no, like put your phone down, forget your
Yeah.
worries, whatever else you're thinking about, and like fully in the moment and having a great time with everybody you're with. And that's what bucket golf brings to the table is truly that. And it's I think it's so unique in so many ways with like the amount of people that can play it at once, the skill level that is required, the age, like so many games. There's something that I like. I love all the other backyard games. I play them all, but there's something they're missing. It's like maybe only four people can play at once, or maybe you need to be skilled or at the same level of the person you're playing against, or it's not going to be fun. Or maybe you have to be the same age, or like young people can't play, old people can't play because you have to be too athletic. And this one really just kind of brings it all together and actually lets everyone play and have an awesome time. And that fun just aspect of like talking about what you did last summer, still like that shot that your grandpa hit or whatever
Yeah.
it was, like and just like carries on. So yeah, that's kind of what we've always hammered with everything we do, is kind of those things.
And when so fun, connection, and community, when that comes back to you, like, because you talked about surveys and doing like talking to people and everything, is that what comes back most of the time? Are you getting a pretty good hit rate on that?
Oh yeah, every single time it looks like so much fun, and I wanted something for my family to do, for this group to do, all together. So that is definitely what is coming back, and I think we got it from the beginning just because that's what I and my family got out of it from the very
Yeah,
beginning. Is I felt those things immediately, and I was like, everyone else has got to feel this too. This is the best thing I've ever
yeah.
like played and done. And then immediately started getting the feedback. So I was like, okay, this is definitely what everyone else is feeling, and getting out of this too.
And the communities, because you talked about the communities, here as being like kind of one of the things you want to get across, but you also talked about how they popped up. How much of that is organic and how much of it is things that you've encouraged? Or did you kind of like that pop up and you started just to like, go, let me see how I can encourage this?
Yeah, it was that direction. People started just doing these things on their own, and we encourage it and follow kind of the path of the people buying our products and what they do with it. And yeah, we just kind of found the amount of people popping up with these tournaments, events, leagues, like after workday leagues, is just there were so many. So I wasn't sure, like I would love to do that, but I didn't know if everyone else would be into it. And then they just started popping up. So we kind of like facilitate and help people put these together and kind of find each other. And that's something we're working on, is yeah, putting together just like an app with a map of like, where can I find other players? Maybe I play with my family, but like we want to get a group league going
Yeah.
here, and kind of just where can I find other players, events, and fun things to do with this game. And so yeah, we're just trying to put it out there so everyone else can find each other and be a part of these things.
Yeah. And when you talk about, again, these brand attributes, which I think are great, right? This is on a podcast called The Business of Fun, fun being one of the brand attributes, I think is should be how it is. But fun, connection, community. One of the things that I'm curious about too is as like the business grows and evolves, and I know there's you say 15 or so full-time employees in the business right now. How do you make sure that that culture and that sort of feeling continues to be primary for people? Because there can be a tendency for a business to drift as you become more successful, as you kind of grow. All of these things that are positives, but then they also can create a sort of a sense of aloofness. And how do you fight that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something obviously still working on. But I think just from my perspective, when we make decisions on what we're building, what new products we're creating, what whatever we're working on, how we're going to ship things, how we're going to respond to people with our customer service, I think I just always keep those things at the front of our decision making. Does this make it more fun for customers?
Hmm.
Does this build more community and engagement? Does this make their experience better, and try to pull the things that we care about? Is it improving those things or not? And if it is, that's the direction we're going in. And if it's not, then that's not the direction we're going to go in. And kind of always just coming back to our core principles of what our brand's about, and kind of what we believe in and what the customers love, is kind of like where it's all driven from. Is like, what do they want, and let's just follow that. And maybe that changes over time. And like that's what it is right now. But maybe customers start to like finagle and they find something else is kind of what's driving them more, and then we'll follow that and kind of adjust our stuff to just be kind of focused on what do people want from what we're making. And I think I don't see it changing, but if it
Yeah.
does, we'll adapt and kind of start to follow what people want and what they're looking for with our stuff.
Well, how do you check to make sure that things aren't changing? Because I think one part of that is like over time, you talked about the customers. Are the customers the same customers that you have always been dealing? Because one of the challenges that I see with people is when you have something that can be mass market, right? That can be, you've made a game that's very accessible to people. You can, if you run the risk of watering it down, I think is probably the way that I think the easiest way to describe it. How do you make sure that you're aware of the change, right? Because like sometimes it's just like you taking away those rough edges because I think the spikiness, and not really like your brand is spiky, but it's every brand that attracts people has a sort of spiky in the way Velcro attracts people.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you maintain that, right? Because change is inevitable, number one, but then number two is change not necessarily can be positive, but it also can be negative, and it can create that sort of feeling of drift. So how do you make sure that, like, I know you go back to those core values, but how do you make sure that, like, you're keeping the brand fresh and you're keeping focused on positive change? You ask those questions, and then but you don't drift too much to become just kind of anodyne, because I know, especially when you have competitors, you're like, well, they're attracting business, like what are they doing right? And how am I making myself like them?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I'm definitely not an expert on yet because I don't think we've quite gotten there. But I think the way that we think about it is, yeah, just focusing on our core, just kind of demographic and like best group that's really into what we're doing, and kind of taking it from there. Because yeah, you have your diehards. Most people, like, you have your diehards who are creating these leagues, tournaments, events, but most people are not that. Most people are just going to play it every now and then and pull it out with their family and just kind of use it a little bit more loosely, not quite as competitive as the people who are probably tagging us in all these videos and really getting into the game and the product and like making it a bigger part of their life. So I think they're the ones that are kind of building the whole community and following
Mm-hmm.
them. And then everyone else kind of like follows the direction that they go is kind of our thought. But yeah, I don't think we've quite crossed that bridge yet of to know like, okay, how do we handle it? So once again, as many things is like just a guess and kind of trying to figure that out as we go along, which is, yeah, like many things don't really know, and we're kind of just trying to figure it out as we go because so many things are just new that we deal with every single day, honestly.
Yeah. One of the things, and I don't know if it's even intentional, and if it's not, it doesn't matter because you've done it. Which was cool was that you talked about there's these diehards, and then there's like people who play, more casually with friends, families that pull this thing out. You're building the game for the diehards, and they're kind of building the community, and I think that's really great. And I'll tell you why. Because the thing about and this is a lesson for anybody who's listening for the branding aspect of this, is in branding you need to position yourself against something, for and against, right? So if you're building for these hardcore people, it doesn't mean you're turning people away. It's just like going, this is for us. This is for these. This is for you, right? It's fun. It's brings about connections, and it helps build a stronger community. Like there's a room for all kinds of people, but this, if you get this is for you. And what it does is it makes it so that even if you don't have a direct competitor in mind, which you may even have one in mind, it's like you can go like, oh, you don't want to have fun? No, this is not for you, right? You want just something that's like sort of like a regulation, like mixer type thing, right? If you corporate event, oh, then this ain't for you, right? Oh, you want to play something that's like limits the number of people? Nah, you there's better games for this, right? You do all those things. It's really, really like well handled. So, and I'd be curious, like, was that intentional? Right? Because sometimes like you just stumble into it, but this is like a really smart, from my vantage point, like position that you've taken because you have created, a versus something that you stand against.
Yeah, no, that was completely an accident and just stumbled upon and got lucky that it worked out the way it did. And honestly, bucket golf, this whole thing is very lucky um, that just as I got deeper and deeper, I realized kind of how good so many of the things about this product and this game and our branding was. And it really, in the beginning, was not on purpose. It just kind of ended up being that way. Um, and yeah, got lucky with just kind of like those things being a part of it, I
Yeah.
guess you'd say. And that now I know all those things. So if I were to like now it's easier to when I create new stuff, I keep all this stuff in mind. But this was, yeah, so early on in my journey on just like entrepreneurship and products that it was just lucky that, got this far down the line and all those things were there. Because it would suck if it was the other direction where you get this
Yeah.
far and you're like, crap, like this just isn't that good. And now I really like it's my baby. I started it, but I really should probably go iterate and do something completely different because this just is missing a lot of core elements. But luckily, it has a lot of them, and kind of just worked out that way.
So
Wish I
when you
could
were
say I planned it.
creating new products like pop pong, which I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can do beer pong with bucket golf. I was like, this is amazing. I was
Yeah,
like, that's a cool looking game.
yeah. And that's when we literally have just been playing that. So with our bucket golf sets, from day one, we just would set them up. And like if we were inside and there was no space to play bucket golf, we would just set up the buckets and play pong against each other. And we just kept playing. And then we just, yeah, saw a bunch of people doing it too. And our retail partnerships we were in, they were like, hey, what else do you got? We were like, well, we have this other version. We play it all the time, like just normally. Like we could release one like that too for people who don't have space and kind of just maybe have a smaller backyard where it's like, yeah, you do need some. I guess that's the really only requirement for bucket golf is you can play indoors, but you do need a certain amount of space. Like it can't be teeny. And with Pong version, you can literally set it up anywhere. Like you don't need any space.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our version of okay, don't have enough space. Here's a nice alternative for you. And yeah, who doesn't like? Everyone knows what beer pong is already, so it's not much teaching in how the game works. It's pretty basic. So yeah, that was like a fun, cool iteration that we put out there of the product.
Yeah, I thought that was I was like, oh, looks like a lot of fun. So let me ask you this question. Um, what does success look like for you now going forward? Like you've had a like a pretty interesting start, I would say, right? You created a product and you like had to figure out how to make it so that people were attracted to it. You've built something where you have distribution. You've been on Shark Tank. You had all of these like ups and downs because everything is ups and downs. What does success going forward look like for you?
Yeah, I think success going forward, just as long as I'm we're building and getting better and improving. That's what feels like success. So continuing to just grow and build this community around this brand that we have, um, is what, yeah, what success looks like to me. It's not so much what revenue number we get to, but it's are we improving, are we growing, are we doing out, are we getting better at setting out on what our mission is here, and that's to make everyone's have more fun and build community and engage with each other and have a better time together and create like the fun memories that you always build with your family and friends. That's what we're after. And are we getting better and bigger and affecting more people? And that's kind of the core of what success looks like. I don't know exactly every day I know what it'll look like this year, just keep building what we're
Yeah,
doing. But
yeah,
maybe next year, maybe it looks like that for the next 3 years. And then we've added another product line under our thing and we're building it with these two products. Maybe it's just a continuation of bucket golf and bucket golf keeps going. So kind of just following what our path tells us in order to get to how can we affect the most amount of people possible and get the most amount of people experiencing the joy that I
yeah.
experience when I play these games that I play. Like I want everyone to experience that. How can we keep getting more and more people to experience that? is what success. And if I'm getting closer to that, that's success. Whether the revenue is going up or not, isn't so much of a concern. But yeah, that's what success looks like to me, and just enjoying it every single day. I think one thing is, I think every entrepreneur and person who builds falls into this trap of like the end goal of like, I want to get to this revenue number. I want someone to buy my company. And
Hmm.
then when you talk to the people who've actually gotten there or actually sold their company, then they start telling you how, wow, the thing I wanted the most, which was to sell my company or whatever that goal may have been, was actually not. Now I'm really sad because that actually wasn't even, it didn't even give me anything. I was excited for a day and then it was over. And the exciting part is actually the whole entire, like every single day of building and like doing it with a team. So I just try to focus, yeah, mostly on enjoying every single day because I know this is the best part. If whatever someone does come along and buy the company, cool, but like not out for that, not out to sell, not out to reach a certain number because those are just
Hmm.
like those seem like empty buckets that you get and they don't actually fulfill you. But really, like building every day, enjoying and seeing the customers is what is success and how why I have so much fun. Like I would do this every single day for the rest of my life as long as I had enough money to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like this is just so much fun to me with the team that that's what I try to like focus on and not get pulled out of to like the other direction. Like I said, is just seems to be not the right area to focus on and what success looks like. It just doesn't bring what people are looking for usually.
What it sounds like to me, and tell me if I'm wrong here. It's like you understand, and you said it. So you understand that there's like numbers that you have to meet because you're running a business and you have to hit certain things to be um, a going concern, right? Like, I mean, that's just reality.
Mm,
But you don't lose sight of the fact that, like, I'm here to make my customers happy and I'm here to help them have fun. And for me to do that, I have fun. And so it's like a marriage of like understanding I got to do certain things because that's just the way it is. And like, but never losing sight of the fact that like going, if we are doing these things right by our customers, we're going to be able a lot more apt to hit these numbers that we need. And I think that's great because a lot of times, if like you were saying, if your goal is like, I just want to make this business as big as possible so I can sell it, your business becomes soulless and you would lose a lot of those brand attributes. Like it would stop being fun. It would just feel kind of transactional, boxes to check, buckets to fill. You wouldn't be creating the same connection. You wouldn't have a community. And so I think that like the way you talked about it, to me, it sounds really cool. And it's, like really, really like hopeful, right? Because you kind of gotta like have something more than just like getting to the end of the line to to really do like innovate and have fun. I mean, if there's a lot easier ways to make a living than it is to like go in and check some boxes. I thought it was great. One final question before we like start plugging some stuff because we got to plug, right? Because I want people to be able to get to find you and like get this stuff because I again it's a really cool game. What big obstacles are you dealing with as far as like reaching these goals, like right, reaching more people, giving people more fun? What's standing in the way?
Yeah, I think just honestly knowledge and becoming better at what we do and becoming better at marketing and trying to get in front of more people and showing. I think we're very good at showing people how fun this stuff is, but yeah, just improving on how do we find these people to get in front of and just get better and better and better at trying to get our product and in front of the right people to show um, how fun it is so they want to have it and experience the same thing. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges is just trying to learn and improve on that because I've never gone farther than where we are right now. So it can only be
Yeah.
as good as we are. And then the other side of the things is, yeah, keeping up with the operational side of things always breaks every time we grow. So trying to keep up and make sure as we grow and we're getting our brand in front of more people and more people are enjoying it, the operations becomes kind of more and more difficult to keep up with what we're doing. So that's the second side of things that just continues to break. Every single step we take, we break this and it has to catch back up. And it's definitely tough because you want to do, when you really care about like the customer and stuff, you want to do the best. So it just like, it stings when you can't do what you want to do for them. And like, where's my order? This is the third time you messed it up. It's like, I promise we're not trying to, like, we're doing our best. It's just like, it's tough to keep up with with it. So I think, those seem to be the biggest two things. And then maybe the third thing would be kind of just growing the team. And when you're smaller, you can do a lot more things on your own and you have eyes on everything. But it seems as we've grown, now you just need to, a lot of responsibility needs to fall on other people, and kind of take over certain things that me as the like owner and founder, I can't see everything anymore. So kind of being able to just trust the team and then give more responsibility to the team and teach the team kind of how to take that on is kind of been a tough battle as well, to kind of figure that out as any team. I think these are just, the more people I talk to, these are just super common things that everyone goes through when they're trying to grow and figure it out, because we're new and like I'm only as experienced as I am as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the three things that we're trying to work on and get better at every single day that make it, it's fun, tough challenge.
The awareness thing, 100%. I like the way you talked about we break operations every time we grow, because I felt that because I had definitely been in that situation. And then learning to manage people, especially as you grow, again, I feel that one because I truly struggled with that. That was like probably the biggest thing I struggled with. So, I mean, it's not helpful, but I can say I feel your pain. Give you some empathy here. So, Tyler, where do people find you on the internet?
So we are bucketgolfgame.com is our website, and all of our social media channels are there as well. They're all just Bucket Golf Game, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube. We're on all the social media spots. If you want to check us out, see what the game actually looks like, you can watch us there. And then I don't personally, actually, I have Instagram and Twitter myself. I don't really, and LinkedIn, I don't really post or anything, but I'm going to start hopefully posting, just personally, just my journey on the side as well, to kind of like share that side of things. And so those are the places to find Bucket Golf. And then my name is just my name, on those other social media channels.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, man, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thanks for having me on. I had a great time chatting about the stuff. It's fun.
Let me know what you thought of my conversation with Tyler by sending me an email to my name. It is dave@davewakeman.com. Make sure that you visit my website. It's davewakeman.com. You can there's a pop-up box that pops up, or there's a little sign-up sheet below where you can get the Talking Tickets newsletter, or you can go direct and get talkingtickets.substack.com. If you have made it 48 or 49 minutes into this podcast, I'm sure you will love the blogs and the articles and the ideas on my website, and I'm certain you will love the Talking Tickets newsletter, so don't miss out, because that's where I'm going to announce my upcoming webinar with the folks at Mentatech that I've been finalizing today, so I should have a date for you in the next episode. Something to look forward to. And as always, if you love the podcast, which I know you do at 49 minutes in, make sure you rate, review, and share the podcast. Any of your favorite podcast platforms will be awesome. Anybody who you think will learn from this conversation, like the one I had today with Tyler, share it, rate it, review it, all those good things. It helps me continue to get great guests. It helps me, gives me positive feedback because I'm a sucker for it. And it makes sure that the show continues to grow and makes people find this thing. So I appreciate it. As I like to say at the end of all these episodes, I couldn't do this without you. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I will talk to you soon. Take Take it easy.